What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, ready for another episode of Rebels with a Cause. You know what time it is, baby. It's Tuesday, 9:30, and it's time for the cause because the cause don't stop when the clock hits zero, baby. Got a great show tonight. We're going to get it started right away. Just real quick, as always, just want to just touch on a couple of things. Want to give just the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with those of any other organization or of West High School. This is solely the Rebels with a Cause crew's views. Also want to give a shout out real quick to my boy Alex Thatcher and the Knoxville Coffee Company. Go pay him a visit. Have that nice brew there in Marble City off of Sutherland Avenue. Any time of the day, it's good for you. And also want to give a shout out to the girls at the King's Chamber, Miss Kim Castle and Rachel Davis. If you are a teacher or any type of first responder, if you'd let them know that, they will give you a discount when you go visit them. They'll take care of your haircuts, beard trims, waxes, the works. They definitely give you the royal treatment there at the chamber. So without further ado, though, we have a special guest tonight. He's very busy, right in the middle of going for a third straight state championship. We're going to bring him on here shortly. But first and foremost, I want to bring on my co-host and my brother, Mr. 2003 West, the voice of the Runnin' Rebels and Lady Rebels, for going on his 19th season when they take the court later this November and December, coming to a court near you, the new version, coached by the new coaches, Coach Graves and Coach Eggleston. Shout out to them. But I want to give him his proper introduction, Mr. Two-Pair Tate. Brian Tate, what is up, brother? How you doing?
What's going on, man? How we doing? Look, man, this show is come a long way, man. Like in such a different amount of time, we are really making so much progress into where we are right now, man. Like, and it's a great thing to see. Great thing to see. But give me 1 second. Actually, I'm getting a quick phone call, business call. This is
You're
actually
fine.
shout out
No,
to
you're good.
Pellissippi State and Coach Joe. Hey, it's
No
getting good
worries.
over here. I'll be right back.
No worries. You bet. You bet. So, while Brian's coming on, and the coach and our stats guy, Mr. Shane McGee, he will be joining us here very shortly. I know he's got a couple of questions that he would like to get to with our distinguished guest. And as Brian had alluded to, he said it best. We've come a long way. This is our 40th episode, and we can't have done it without the love and support of each and every one of you, whether you're a former player, current administrator, former staff member, just family members. We love everything you guys do. Hit that like and subscribe button. Share the message of the cause, and that way we can keep it going from here on going forward. But without further ado, I don't want to waste any more of his time. He is a busy man. He is. Oh, real quick, he's coming on right now. Let me get him on real quick. Mr. Shane O'Mac, welcome to the show, buddy. Welcome to the show. So,
sorry, I let my computer take forever to load up.
No, you're good, bud. You're good. Well, we've got him backstage. You'll have your questions ready. I'll have them ready to go. And I know he's busy, so we got to get to it. But without further ado, let's bring him on. I want to give him a proper introduction. He is now in his 8th season at Knoxville West as the head football coach. He is a 2-time state champion coach. I believe he won Coach of the Year last year and was presented with as much with the 2022 team that went 15-0, and he was presented with a plaque there in Nashville at a Tennessee Titans game. He's coached for many years, built an outstanding program at Morristown West prior to coming to Knoxville West. He's going to tell us all about our journey. Let's bring him on, the one, the only head coach Lamar of Knoxville West High School. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you, guys. I want to thank you guys for what you do for sports programs at West and their school. I think this is an unbelievable thing you guys are doing, and I want to tell you I really appreciate that.
It means a lot.
Man, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. Definitely.
You bet. Well, let's get to it. Coach, I'm going to ask the first question. And what I'd like to do is for those that don't know who you are, because we actually, if you can believe this, have fans out in Louisiana, of all places, and Florida. And they always are like, so who's this Knoxville West from Class 5A that you rep, James, all the time? And so some of them are going to miss the show live because they're hunkering down for a hurricane. But I would like for you to go on ahead and kind of talk about your journey of, what made you get into coaching after you were done playing, and what have you accomplished the goals that you set out when you originally went on this journey?
But Stallion,
Yes, yes, sir.
the number one question we gotta ask before we ask.
Oh yes, this might be ask it. If he gets mad at you, not at me. So
in your football time, before we get on your journey. On that football field, was there one person you say that did bust your ass? Like just that one person. Who was the first person? We asked everybody this. Like as a football player, who was that person you say, you know what? Okay, that was my welcome to football moment.
Oh goodness, there was a lot of those. I remember I played at Jefferson County, and
okay.
I was on the kickoff team, and they did some cross blocking up front on the kickoff return. And I remember Coach Kisbeth and Coach Smith telling us we had to outrun it. Well, I was trying to figure out why I was on it, if we was going to outrun anything, and I wasn't able to outrun it. And the guy hit me from the side. I don't know who it was. Don't remember who it was. The only thing I know is I had to get my face mask changed after the play because it was bent, and at that time you didn't have a concussion. Your head just hurt a little bit. So continue.
Your bell rung.
Your bell got rung. That's what
bell got rung. That was right, and that was exactly right. It did get rung, but that happened to me quite a bit. It seems like.
For sure.
That's
for
awesome.
sure.
That's awesome.
So you played at Jefferson County. What made you kind of go into the coaching route, Coach Brown?
Well, that's where it all kind of got started at. I was raised by my grandparents, and I was at a time in my life getting high school. I had some choices to make, and coming to some forks in the road, and I had to make decisions. And Coach Kisbeth, my head coach, was an unbelievable man, still is. Me and him talked quite a bit throughout the football season. I got to see him when we went to Jefferson County and scrimmage. They just named the field after him when they opened this year against Oak Ridge at home. But unbelievable man. And my defensive back coach was named Jim Smith, and another dude that I just love to death to this day. And both of those guys had a major impact on my life. And they made such an impact that I thought this is what I want to do. And just being around them and the way they treat kids, the way they treated me, the way they helped me make some tough decisions. I wanted to give some of that back, and got into coaching and started out at Morristown West. Was there a couple years, and then I GA'd at Carson Newman and went to Morristown West, and Chuck King from Carson Newman got a job at the University of Cumberland's in Williamsburg, Kentucky, and asked me to go with them. And I left Morristown West, and I knew I didn't want to coach college football, but I went up there. Me and my wife decided to go up there, and I spent a year up there. Had a daughter that was about 2 or 3 years old. Didn't get to see her a whole lot. And next year, I came a spot open back up at Morristown West and stayed there until I got my daughter through one school system. I never wanted to be that coach that moved around. I wanted my kids to be in one school system and not have to change. But plus, I wanted to make an impact on the community because that was what Coach Kisbeth and Coach Smith did for me at Jefferson County. And I got her senior year after football season. Me and my wife decided to look around, and there was 2 jobs in the state of Tennessee that I applied for. of course, West High School being one, and Siegel High School in Murfreesboro being another one. And turns out Dr. Spees called me, the first one to call me, and took the job. And I did a lot of research, knew what I was getting into, knew the shape the football program was in at that time. But got to meet a lot of new people, and a lot of people that 8 years later are my best friends. And one great thing about that people don't really talk about, our coaching staff has pretty much stayed intact all 8 years, and that's a great benefit. I mean, the kids are hearing the same things every year, but those guys my assistant coaches have been really important to me. As far as accomplishing my goals, I guess the only goal I had was to make a difference in the world, and just start with one kid at a time. And I've got a coaching staff that's very diverse. None of us are the same. And, I want a kid to be able to find, I don't want 11 Lamar Browns coaching this football team. I want people different than me. And because I think that gives every kid an opportunity to find somebody he can relate to and bond with. Because there's times we got to have hard talks with kids that I've never experienced, and so for me to go in there and talk about it and act like I know about it is crazy. Just example of that this year. Chad Brooks talked to the football team about being a young African American and being poured over by the law. I mean, I've never experienced that. And so, he gave the football team some great advice on how to handle those situations. And so I want a lot of people different than me, but, I think I'm always striving to reach my goal of making a difference. Each year is different. You get new kids. We got about 50 new freshmen in our program this year. And when we built this program, state championships wasn't even talked about. I mean, I think that's a byproduct of us doing the other things that we do talk about really well, and the players buying in and doing that. So, it's a journey, and it's a marathon. It's not a race. And, I don't know how much longer I have left in this profession. I know I've coached more years than I'm going to coach. I'm on the downhill slide, but when I stop having fun with it, it'll be time to get out of it, and that journey will end. And hopefully I can look back and say that, we did make a difference.
Absolutely.
I agree with everything you said. You're at a higher level than I'm at, but I've been coaching for the last decade. And every reason you gave for why you got into coaching is the exact same reason I got into coaching.
Yeah.
Two of my former coaches, you coached their sons, played for Scott Cummings and Rich Dubon. So
yeah, I did. Last year was really special for West High School. You get, I never dreamed when I came to West High School I'd be coaching Scott Cummings' kid.
Yeah.
And for him to transfer into us last year and play the way he did, and in the big moments, especially at the end of the year, what a great time for West High School. He had Scott there at won the state championship in 2014, and now his son gets to win one in 2023. It was a great experience.
It was weird for me coaching against their kids because I've been here for a long time. So we played when Scott was at Halls and Parker was in the middle school league at West. It's just weird for me. It's like I know these guys because they made me want to get into coaching. So it was weird, but it's also a great moment because I started to see them out there on the field and be there and have those conversations with them. So it was always fun for me.
Amen.
I think what's crazy for me is to watch that these, Parker's a senior this year. And, I remember Coach DeBon before he even had kids. I mean, that's how many years, and the years just go by so fast. And, you wait so long for the season to come, and it's over in a blink of an eye. And you got to take every game, every play, every practice special because it's gone. That's why the show, the cause, they don't stop when the clock hits zero, but you got to find a new cause after football, that type of thing.
We talked about that yesterday as a coaching staff on Monday when we're handing out the scouting reports. It says, week 4, team 4, and it's hard to believe it's week 4. I mean, it is hard to believe. I mean, the season, we're about halfway through it, which is
right.
unbelievable.
You know, Two-Pair, I know you had a question, and what a great segue, Coach Brown, without even realizing it. But I know that Two-Pair had a question, and I'm going to have you go on ahead and ask it, Two-Pair. Go for it. So,
yeah. So, you know, with the success that the program has had, is there ever any pressure being the hunted team every year with every game that you guys play is the next team's biggest game on their schedule? How does it? Is there any pressure in that?
Well, I don't think anybody can put any more pressure on us than we do. And you know, to address the expectations, I really wouldn't want to be at a place that didn't have high expectations. And our community and their administration and our school gives us everything we need to be successful. And just you know, the pressure. I guess it seems like every game we play is a big game. I mean,
absolutely,
every game we play is a big game. So it just becomes a little bit of habit that you got to prepare for big games. And you know, you open with Bearden, big rival, and then you know last week we played Farragut, another big rival. Got Maryville, then we jump into the region. For a couple weeks, and then there sets Alcoa and Anderson County. Then we close their region. Every week's a big week, and the pressure we put on ourselves, you know, to be good and the things. And I wouldn't say it's pressure. I'd say we work really hard. Our kids work really hard to try to meet those expectations, and they hurt when they don't. Our kids were hurting after the Bearden game. And but you know, they got back up. Sun came in Monday and started getting better. I think we've gotten better every week. I think the Farragut game was the best game we played. You know, against Bearden, we couldn't throw the ball. Our special teams was awful. And then, you know, Coach Ellerby's done such a great job with those guys the past couple of weeks. I mean, you look at Clinton, we have a punt return for a touchdown, a kickoff return for a touchdown. And don't give up much in the return game. Then last week,
two block punts in that game too.
And then last week, you know, Antoine starts the game off. Farragut gets the ball and he returns the punt to the 2-yard line, and it's hard for an offense to screw that up too bad.
Shane, you had a question too, and it's ironic. You know, Coach Brown did mention that here they're handing out the scouting reports week 4, but you had this question for him.
After the last 3 games, where do you want to see improvement on both offensive and defensive side of the ball?
Well, I think you're starting to see it. I mean, there's still a lot of things we've got to get better at within this, but we really struggled throwing the ball against Bearden. And that, you know, Parker DeBond got way too much blame for that. I mean, there's times that, you know, he didn't have time to throw, which starts with a pass protection. There's times he threw beautiful balls and the receiver, you know, just wasn't there. It just wasn't where it's supposed to be. And but I felt like, you know, last week I think Parker was 16 of 24 for about 200 yards. And so
just looked methodical. Methodical with it. He looked so methodical with it. Like everything was precision, the timing, the protections. Like when I went back and watched the tape, you're seeing a team get better in real time.
Yeah. So, you know, then there's a lot of things we need to improve. Was we perfect in the passing game? No. We've got to continue to get better at that stuff, and I want to see improvement with that. Special teams has gotten a lot better throughout these first 3 weeks. We've got to continue. We've got to win special teams every week. That's the standard that we set, and that really hurt us against Bearden. And defensively, you know, right now we're playing really relentless. We're playing hard, but we've got to get to the point that when Coach Chandler calls the defense, we have all 11 guys on the same page.
Yep.
Because when we're not on the same page is when we get hurt. And I know that they're working hard at this week with getting on the same page, because if you're not on the same page against Maryville defensively, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
And so those guys are working really hard to do that. And we've got some great competitors on defense. And just some of those guys got to figure out that they're not supposed to make every play. And when they do something they're not supposed to do to try to make a play is when the other team makes a play.
Yeah.
But, offensively, I think that we're still a work in progress, and I want to continue to see that growth. And we're facing a big challenge this week, but Maryville's not gave up a point all year. So that takes a little pressure off of us. We just need to get 3. But it'll be a great night. But
you got the kicker to do it, though. So
yeah, we do.
We do have the kid. We have the foot to do it.
So maybe we can at least get in field goal range. But we expect to see that growth week to week. You hear our kids talking about stacking days. They want to be better. They want to be better tomorrow than they were today. Today's the baseline for tomorrow, and they've really bought into that, and hopefully you'll continue to see that growth.
It's funny, Coach. Shane's next question, I really want to segue into that to talk about the opponent you are facing this week. So, Shane, go for it, brother. Go ahead.
So we saw Maryville take some losses last year, and they proved they can be beat. This season, they've not allowed a single point, 3 victories, as you just said. What is the key to stopping them this Friday and coming out with a win?
Oh, man. I don't know if we have enough time. They're a very, very good football team.
They've always been a sound football team, even when we were all playing. So
yeah, that's what we talked to the offensive team and defensive team yesterday about. We got to win this game. That Maryville's not going to lose it. I mean, we got to go take it. They're not going to do anything stupid. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. They're going to be disciplined. And their offensive line is just absolutely huge. You got a great back and great quarterback back there behind them. Defensively, our little guys are going to have to fight. I mean, they're going to have to play hard, and you may see one of them get driven 10 yards down the field and get pancaked, but he's got to get back up and get in there and continue to fight, because we got to do that for 48 minutes against these guys in all phases. We can't make stupid mistakes. One thing that's got to get better. We can't turn the ball over like we've been turning the ball over against Maryville. If we do that, it's going to be a long night. But I'm excited to play this game. It's a huge game. Our kids are excited to play it. We created some pretty good rivalries around here in the last 8 years, and this is one of them. And we know we're going to get Maryville's best effort. But I don't think our kids are scared of them. I think our kids will show up and play. We may get our butts kicked, but that we're going to show up and play and see what happens.
One of my favorite memories when I played that game was Scott came in right before the game. We're all sitting there in the old field house. He has the tape in his hand, and we lost 40-something to nothing the year before. And he slammed that tape down on the ground, said nothing else except 42-0. Slammed that down, and we still got beat that day. And I dislocated my shoulder, but we were hyped to go out there and everything we had.
It's an honor to play those guys. I give our schedule a lot of credit for where we are right now. I mean, the first time we played Maryville, I guess 4 years ago, we went over and we had a good football team. Went over and got our butts kicked 35-7. And that game probably taught us more than any other game I've coached in, that every phase of our football program had to get better to compete with those guys. And we figured it out, and kids figured it out, coaches figured it out, and we started getting better. And I don't think it's a coincidence that, since that game, I guess we haven't lost many since then.
Nope.
And it's been, they get a lot of the credit, for them. Play Alcoa, it's won 9 straight state championships. Those guys get a lot of credit for making us a better program, because we see what a state championship contender looks like every year.
Amazing.
The East Tennessee Gauntlet has gotten really rough, and there's you got a lot of state champions and teams that compete for state championships in the region now.
Yes,
in that area, so you're getting everybody's best game, but it makes you better each week.
You look at our region. I think 5 of the last 6 state champions have come out of our region.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's crazy when you throw that in there in our out of region schedule. It's tough.
Coach, I'm going to give the next question to Two-Pair. And Two-Pair, go for it, brother.
Yeah, seeing the success of a program, like, what defines a winner in your opinion?
Well, I think a winner is somebody that's always going to learn. You're not always going to win, but you can always learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think we've done really well within our program is our kids want to get better. I mean, we didn't treat on Monday. We didn't treat the Bearden loss no different than we did the 38-3 victory over Farragut. One purpose, and that was to get better and learn from it. And our kids believe in that, and they do it. So, I think a winner is somebody that always learns, and I think a winner is also somebody that tries to do it the right way. That's another thing we try to do in our football program is do it the right way. Our kids are there, that they're student athletes, and student comes first. They wouldn't be playing if they wasn't in school. I think it's important for them to, if you want to be great on the football field, you need to start being great in the school. And so we try to do things the right way. And we challenge our kids with that. And, our kids know right from wrong. But, I think I said earlier, they're just like me. I know right from wrong. I just don't always choose to do what's right. And we all make mistakes. And you got to learn from those mistakes. They can't define you.
Coach, you mentioned earlier that you've now been 8 years with the program. Some of the people that you met then are some of your best friends. And you talk about this staff staying intact. You don't see that very often. You see guys that, when opportunity knocks, they take it. You can't blame them for that. But this question, talk about your staff, from Scott Shavers down to any new additions that you've brought on, as well as just talk about the support from not only Dr. Spees and the school, but also the community there of Marble City and the One West slogan that is more than just a slogan. It's reality. Can you talk about that?
Yes. I've said it. My coaching staff's unbelievable. We're around each other more than we're around our own families this time of year, and those guys are my best friends, and I know that they all know the expectations of our program and what we believe in, and they all believe in it. That they all do anything above and beyond what they should do. It's just, you start on the defensive side of the ball. Baron Chandler's been with me ever since I was in Marshtown as the defensive coordinator, and he does an unbelievable job. And this is the great thing. Some of them was there when I came. Some of them I brought new coaches in, and it's a mixture of guys that just believe in each other. You got Rodney Ellerby that's been there, I think, since 2013.
Yep.
Coaches tight ends. Richard Harb is one of our newest additions. He coaches their wide receivers and does an unbelievable job with those guys, just getting them better and getting them to buy in and give effort every day. It's fun to watch Coach Harb coach. DJ Roberts, who played at AE, went to
Hell
UT.
of a player at AE.
Yeah, heck of a player. And, he came in, DJ just thinks we win state championships. This is his third year, and he's lost 2 games now. But, that's DJ's expectations. And he's on those DBs all the time. But, they love him, and he can coach them hard because they know he loves them. Quinn Epperly is the newest addition this year, helping with quarterbacks. He played at CAK, went on to be the Ivy League Player of the Year at quarterback at Princeton, and he's really brought a different dynamic to our coaching office that especially being there with the quarterbacks and taking a little bit off of me. Tyson Seaby's come back this year to help coach the kickers.
Oh, wow.
A former player that's got those guys better, and Tyson's been a part of the program. He knows all about it. Scott Shaver, everybody asks me what Coach Shaver does. He does everything I don't want to do.
We've heard that already.
He handles the money and all that other stuff, and I get to coach football. And his son coaches. Morgan Shaver played at West High School, coaches defensive line. Was there when I got there, and he does an unbelievable job. It seems like every year, this year two new defensive linemen come in out of the 3, and we don't miss a beat. Don't miss a beat at all. Chad Brooks played with me in Marshtown. Played for me there. When I was interviewing for the job, Chad was one of the first people that I called. He lived in Knoxville. He just graduated from Maryville College, and I want to know if I took the job, if he'd come with me. And Chad, it's crazy. You can say this about all the coaches. It don't matter. Chad, we get asked this question: what are you going to do? What are you going to do since Braden Latham's left? Well, Marshawn Bowers steps in. What are you going to do when Marshawn's gone? And now we got Antarius McAllister and Messiah Wynn. We haven't skipped a beat there, and he's the reason why. Dustin Laws was there when I got there, coaches the offensive line, and does an unbelievable job with those guys. And Jamie Holbrook came from. I was looking. One of the things I hadn't had, I guess it was 2020. I hadn't really had that true strength coach at West High School, and that's important to our program. And people say they do a nationwide search. We did a nationwide search. We put it out there on. I got a hold of people that knew those big strength coaching groups, and we put it out there. We was looking for one, and Coach Holbrook was coaching football. He's from Vermont, was coaching football in Louisiana, and applied for the job, and interviewed him and 2 or 3 others, and he just seemed to be a fit. All those strength guys they're a little crazy. That's Coach Holbrook. He's a little crazy, and that's good. He's really, you've seen a big jump in our strength program and the amount of weights that we are moving once he got there, and all those guys. And I'd be crazy if I didn't, include Ashley Speece in this, because she's the reason why I'm at West High School in Knoxville. She's the reason why I left Marshtown West. She sold me on the One West vision that she had for this school, and it's not just words with her. It's a culture that she's built that is unbelievable, and our community and our parents, that there's not a need that we have that they don't meet. It could be we need a new sled. We get a new sled. It could be a kid needs a place to stay for a month. They've got a place to stay for a month. It could be we need state championship rings. Their community comes through, and West is a very special place and a very special community.
Yeah, Yeah, and if you're not a part of it, you wouldn't understand,
You would.
and we're blessed. We're blessed that you got guys like us that have come, we've been
Yeah.
a part of this since 1998, 1999, respectively, coming in, and graduates, and the fact that we can give back to the school that gave us a shot, it's just something special
Absolutely.
to be a part of.
It is.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Brian, I'm going to give you the next question, by the way. Go for it, brother.
Yeah, so you seen what it is to be at the mountaintop. You know what all you got to go through. You know what type of team has to be disciplined to go through those battles when it gets into late November. Will it take for this team to be the last team standing when it's all said and done for the third time in a row?
Well, I think we got the talent. I really do. I think we're a talented football team, but it's not very often that the most talented team wins the championship. And I don't think we're the most talented team in 5A, but I think we got talent. Our kids have to continue to get better every week. No matter what happens, we have to continue to get better. And this group to this point tells me they want to do that. And we have to keep coming together because, you get more out of life if you're doing it for somebody else than just doing it for yourself. And we talk a lot about a thing called Talent Plus. We're not going to change their talent, but we have to make that plus sign as big as we can make it. And what does that mean? That means it's the way we trust each other. It's the way we care about each other. It's the love that you feel when you walk into our locker room. Because, if you're playing for somebody else, you're playing for the guy next to you, it's going to benefit you more than if you're just playing for yourself. So I think, I don't know what this year is going to hold, but I really like this football game.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Shane, you had, I'm going to give you the final question because it's a really fun question. And Coach, I want to thank you again for coming on. I know how busy you are preparing for the challenge that's ahead. And like you said, week in, week out, every challenge and so forth that you're going to face and get everybody's best shot. And I know want to give your best shot at these teams to make yourselves better. But Shane, I'm giving you this last question. Go for it, brother.
Outside winning the last two state championships, what is your favorite moment as a coach of the West Rebels?
Well, I've had a bunch of those. The one that jumps out at me was my first year at West. The coaches that was there, we talk all the time that may have been our best coaching job that we've ever done. That first year. We end up finishing third in the region, and we go to Ray County, and Ray County running the wing tee. They get the ball first, and I don't think they have a third down. I mean, they go 80 yards, and I don't think it's ever third down. Not too many second downs in there, and score a touchdown, and we somehow found a way to score on our first possession also to tie the game up, and there was a long lightning delay. And
I remember that game.
So the great thing now is you've got iPads and everything else. So we got in the locker room. We was in the locker room for about an hour and a half, and and it was work in there that my coaches were getting work done. We came up with defensive adjustments, offensive adjustments, and then go out and win the game, and ended up winning it on a safety. Tied up, I think final might have been 16-14. And, just walking across the field after I shook hands, there's tears in my eyes. And my wife walked up to me and she says, "Everything okay, honey?" And I said, "It's great." But that will always be a special memory to me because of the way that first group fought.
Yeah.
And just fought their tail ends off that game against Ray County, and found a way to win. That's one of my best memories in coaching.
I think all of us coaches have those moments. For me, it was it's been 7 years ago. We beat Alcoa for the championship in the MAC, the first year the MAC existed, and we scored on a touchdown right in the left corner of the end zone. And Alcoa hadn't lost games in like 6 years, and we won the championship right there. But I remember that moment was probably one of the proudest moments I ever had, even though we won a championship. But the way the boys fought and everything like that one still sticks to me to this day. I was lucky to be out there with my kids. They all participated in some way. I had one playing on the team, one cheering. My son was like the mascot of the team. But it was one of those, like, it came full circle for me. Even if we had lost, like, they gave everything they had that night. And that was one of those, like, yep, this is it. Like, this is what you're in it for.
Yeah, that's like, I tell this story a lot, that, West High School is such a special place, and it's such a diverse place. But, I think when you walk into our locker room, I don't see that stuff. It's just young men being young men, and young men fighting for the same goals, and young men every day in our locker room. Multiple times you're going to hear, "I love you." And, I tell, I think I said it on 5-Star Preps video when they followed us around in 22 during the state playoffs, that, I think our locker room it gives me a small glimpse of the way I really believe God created the world to be. And it's a special place, and that's stuff you'll never forget. I've got 2 state championship rings in a box, and I've had them on once, and the kids wanting them so big, my fingers aren't strong enough to carry them around. So,
and then here's the stallion who wears them daily, every day, and it's a conversation.
But I tried to talk the kids out of it. No, let's get one smaller. We might wear it. No, they need to get one they had. But those things are going to be in the box. The things you always remember is those bonds and those special memories. There's numerous memories of kids coming in as freshmen that's in trouble every day, and you're fighting and fighting, hoping they can hang on and not back you into a corner where you can't give them no more chances. And then it goes from they're in trouble every other day now, then they're in trouble once a week, then they're in trouble once a month, and sooner or later they're no longer in trouble at all. And those are the things that you always remember.
Absolutely. Coach, I just want to say thank you again for being on, and thank you for being our coach. You could have gone to Siegel, but God had a plan to bring you to us. We're grateful to have you. And I know you said that you're on your downhill, but you stay as long as you want. And if you need a little bit of motivation, give me a call. I'll write my checkbook. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I like these things too much. What can I say? But anyway.
But once again, thank you guys for what you do for our football program, all the other athletic programs in our high school. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Blessings to you and the staff, on the field, off the field, and, good luck this Friday night, and get it done, Coach.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Wow. Guys, how awesome was that? And anybody that either got to watch that live or, it's an incredible moment to just be there with the head coach of West, who's busy, who took his Tuesday night. They're right in the middle of preparing for a huge game against Maryville. Guys, hope your week is going good. Let's talk about the game last week against Farragut. West did come out 38-3. And basically speaking, we all traditionally that game has been close. We all had it. Shane, if you still have last week's predictions and everything, I think
upstairs.
No worries. But I from based on when I rewatched the show, we were all within a field goal, a touchdown, or 10 points of.
I said 10 plus. I said 10 plus.
Yeah. So basically, West came out like
I didn't expect 35 plus.
No, and obviously Farragut's going to be He's going through a transition right now. I think there's going to be bright days ahead for Jeff Courtney and that staff. We've got some former players there at West that are on that staff. Mickey Chait is on there and so forth. So, and Mark Giles is on there. But we
Mark
wish them
Giles. Shout out
we
to
wish them a
the
great
legend
shout
Mark
out. Yeah,
Giles.
shout out to them.
Shout
And
out to the
you know,
legend.
we wish them well on the rest of the year because they have a brutal schedule. They've got another tough opponent this week in Cleveland. So they've got Bearden still, they've got Maryville.
Cleveland's 3-0 right now.
Yeah. I mean, they. So, but yeah, West had a phenomenal game. The passing game looked great with Parker. Parker did have 100
Man,
yards. Shout out to you,
hey,
brother. So he looked
Parker,
very comfortable out there.
Parker,
So, yeah.
whatever you did to prepare for that type of offensive explosion,
Do it again.
like let's be honest, man. Like when he's running that tempo and he's looking down and he's getting his reads and he's got the time, he shows you what precision can look like. You know what I'm saying? And I just think the sky's the limit if you get this type of, you know what I'm saying, protective of the ball, Parker Duvon. When he can make a play. Like that completion rating. What was he again?
16 of 24, and truth be told, the 2 interceptions he did throw were off of his own players' hands and kind of ricocheted things. So the 2 interceptions weren't truly his fault on that one,
Exactly.
and that hurt the percentage of the 16 of 24. So yeah.
But if he's protective of the ball, this is what you get. It's like you just need him. You know what I'm saying? You need to cut down the turnovers, but those turnovers necessarily don't go to the quarterback. That's just a placement of the blame it would go to, even though there's context to who is the wide receiver in question, in that regard. But
go ahead, Two-Pair. Go ahead.
my fault. That's where I think they'll be though. If he's playing like this. Like they put up points.
They did. Well, and the other thing too is now you have to game plan for that because Farragut tried to be cute with putting 8 in the box and we made them pay. And I want to give a shout out to David Drata because, he was out the Clinton game, came back and, had a touchdown and, looked phenomenal at his position. Detroit Patterson, finally kind of getting in the groove of things and so forth and learning the offense. He contributed with a couple of big plays and James Mills made a catch. So as Coach mentioned earlier in the interview, Coach Harb is working very well with that group, and he's got so many receivers to choose from. They all bring something to the table, but there is, like you said, Two-Pair, only one ball to go around. Not to mention, you got a stable of running backs that can break it any chance they get behind that offensive line.
It is a ton of talent, like Tavion Ray, Messiah Wren, Burdine, McAllister, Goings, Drata, Mills, Abel Ancelot. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like
Corey Person.
Like
Corey
Person.
So. And Dominic, the tight ends even contribute too, So
it's a lot of talent when we start rattling off guys on the offense. Like we rattled off at least 7 or 8 guys, maybe 9. I don't know who did we miss?
Well, you let's hear. I mean, you got Abel. Oh, hey, listen, we hadn't even named the masterpiece, Burdine, Antoine Burdine, who has just been phenomenal.
Burdine,
I think you did, yeah. But yeah. Antoine, I mean, he himself, he's a playmaker, and
who's out of the guys right now. Where we're at, who's made like the signature play of the year? Like was Tavion Ray's touchdown to send it in the OT? Was that like a?
I'd say that was a big. I would say that's one that sticks out. I'd say the play though is that. Actually, I'm going to go 2 different plays. You've got a 95-yard kickoff return by Antoine Burdine in the Clinton game. But then our boy Jack Keith, a 96-yard pick 6 Farragut's driving down the field, and Jack Keith just jumps in front of the ball and takes it 96 yards for a touchdown. In a big win, you had a substantial lead, but that just shows you ain't getting in on this team. I mean, this team doesn't give up touchdowns, and realistically, it showed, Friday night. Shane, I wanted to ask you from a coaching perspective, this is West's 6th win over Farragut. There was a time there where West couldn't beat Farragut, and now West has won 6 in a row. Just to give you this stat, West now leads this series. Yes, West has now won 6 in a row. West now leads the all-time series 16-14 with 3 ties. So they've played a total of 33 times, and now West, has taken a little bit of a lead in the series when before they weren't in the lead. But
it used to be that Farragut used to, always beat West.
Yep.
Like
And
football,
this was the largest
basketball.
victory. Yep.
It was a period of Farragut was just the better school back then. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's amazing how times change.
Well, you had the same coach there forever, Coach Courtney.
Ever.
And I mean, he's still part of the program. When you have that changeover that they've had this year, even though it's similarities, it's still different. No coaches coach the same. Even if you come out the same coaching tree, you don't coach the same. We all approach the game differently. And for West to have won 6 in a row, I mean, that's hard to do around here. And Farragut's a deep team, always competitive. They were off last year a little bit. I can't remember if they made the playoffs or not. And if they did, they were a lower seed.
They missed it by 1 game. They lost that Cleveland game in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's right. We were shocked. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. 2 pair. And here's the other thing too. The other stat. West is victory over Farragut. That 35 points is the largest victory by West over Farragut in all those wins, by the way. Not even your state championship teams had big margins of victory. Last year, we only won by 7. The 2022 team won by 19. Won by 19. And even the 2014 state champs won by 19. So this was the largest margin of victory by West over Farragut, 35 points. And like we said, the games had been close as of late. The last couple of years, they've always been competitive. And this year, I think West really wanted to come out and send a message, to be honest with you.
I think they did too.
That, so
yeah, I really think they wanted to show, like, hey, this is what we do. This is why we are who we are, and we're gonna prove that in the Battle of Kingston Pike.
I think
we're gonna prove it.
I think the other thing that they're doing is showing that week 1 was a fluke. I mean, that was a hard fought game. That was that game.
Well, and look at Bearden now. Bearden has dropped 2 games, but they don't have the same players playing in Anderson County that were playing against West. I mean, they had a backup quarterback, backup tailback. Their guy Kai Ironside was out, and they lost to Anderson County 35-18.
Did Drew start for the Alcoa or for the Anderson County game?
Who?
Did Drew Parrott start for the Anderson County?
No, Mississippi started. The Alcoa game, but Drew finished the game, and obviously did so well to get them in there. And they thought they had the game won, and special teams, man.
Did Drew start for the Anderson County game?
He did. He
did
the whole game.
So I wouldn't count Drew as a backup. That's been his team for the last 3 years.
So you would say that there was really like quarterback 1B pretty much, and so forth.
That's what it looked like.
The new quarterback the whole playbook this year, and Drew knows that offense better than anybody else, in my opinion. Drew, deep ball's never really been there for him, but his legs have always been there, and he's had his targets, and so to me, I would never consider Drew the backup. Because that's his team. That he's the captain out there. He knows every one of those guys, especially his receivers. I mean, it was a battle between him and the transfer that came in from Mississippi. But I mean, that's been Drew's team, and I will always consider Drew more probably the starting quarterback, but that was his team.
Yeah, for sure.
In my personal opinion, because I know the kid, he was my quarterback all the way since he was in fourth grade. Led us to a championship. Led us to playing in championships. He took over as starting quarterback his freshman year over Harris's older brother. I mean, Drew. That's Drew's team, in my opinion. Like they would follow him anywhere. So, but they've reloaded more than I thought they did.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing too. It's funny because we talked about the West Bearden winner having a momentum, be a momentum game. And so if you would have asked me leaving the West Stadium what Bearden's record would be with them beating West, I wouldn't have said 1-2, guys. I'm just saying that. West right now is 2-1 with a unbelievable challenge coming up. Bearden gets to play Maryville in a couple weeks. That's a region game. Yeah, that's a region game, and it's on Rivalry Thursday.
Yep.
Also, want to bring up, and let's talk about it. Let's go on to it. It's
let me
the
say
battle.
This real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Finish it up. Yeah, man, for sure.
I didn't mean to say the Battle of Kingston Pike because we are the Sutherland Avenue boys. We just are going to take over Kingston Pike.
And listen, you just have to just go. What do? You just go down Forest Glen. You take a right on Tobler, where we all puked our guts out running up and down the thing. And there's West Stadium. It might as well be Kingston Pike if all those nice fancy homes weren't built there so many years ago.
Yeah, you might as well. If you come down Tobler, technically it's
right there.
We owe Kingston Pike too.
That's half a mile total.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta come see us if you want to win this thing. You gotta come see us.
Since Farragut wants to be considered its own little town, I will call the Bearden West rivalry the Battle of West Knox.
I like that.
Because the Battle of Kingston Pike is technically.
You're right. You're right, because there's a Farragut tax over there. Ask those businesses in Turkey Creek. They wanted to get as close to the edge of Knox County where it didn't become the town of Farragut. They pay some major taxes, guys, to be there in Turkey Creek on that side. So you're right.
That's why they're charging $500 for kids to play.
Yikes.
Yeah. But it's all doctors and lawyers out there, so they got that money.
They do. They got that money. So, hey, remember, we made that joke about the basketball game. What type of pizza did they hand out to those kids for the game that never happened? Was it Little Caesars or was it like, Marco's or some expensive stuff? Gondolier, that type of thing. But anywho. But let's talk about it, guys. It is the Battle of the Rebels in Marble City. Let's talk about the tail of the tape. In one corner, you've got Red Rebels with, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 19 total state champions. They own the series lead over West 28-5 in 33 all-time meetings, but West has won the last 2 in a row. And in this corner, you have the West Rebels Class 5A, 3-time state champions and so forth. So 19 champions to 3 state champions. But I will say this about West. West right now is the number 3 team in the state in Class 5A, behind Page and Southwind, who are undefeated at this moment. And then Maryville is number 3 in the state in Class 6A, behind the defending champions Houston and Murfreesboro, Oakland, who's had their number as of late. But the stat that is just absolutely insane that was talked about in the chat box, it was even mentioned with Coach Brown, the fact that they have won all 3 ball games and shut out the other opponent respectively. Heritage, Central, and Bradley Central have all been shut out by Maryville. And, the question is, can West at least get a field goal, as Coach Brown joked around? But truth be told, guys, it's a major battle. They want it bad. They're tired of losing to us. We've won 2 in a row. I don't think our guys are afraid of them because we've beaten them twice. And these guys that are on the team, even though they're the guys, they helped contribute in those victories. Shane, go for it. What do you think about this matchup between number 3 and 6A and number 3 and 5A? The Battle of the Rebels in Marble City, Friday the night.
Maryville surprised me so far. After the way last year went, I thought we were starting to see the decline of Maryville because you're seeing other programs step up, especially us. But both teams are reloaded, and it's going. They're going to look at Maryville's going to look at the film from the Bearden game, and they're going to use that one on how to try to take it to us. I don't know what film we watch on Maryville that shows our weakness. That's my fear, because I mean, you know, Maryville's Maryville. We've all dealt with it for the last 20 plus years, but you've got to find something that's going to stop them. I know last year when they were losing games, it was because they lost their Air Force commit, I believe he was.
Yeah, Gage Ledoux.
Yes. Yeah, was out. And that dude was a beast. Like, he made back for the playoffs, but man, that kid was a beast.
Yeah.
But you know, you take out a key player like that, you know, you were able to exploit them, and it was a battle the whole time when I was at that game for the Bearden West game or Bearden Maryville game. And you know, they're gonna watch the Bearden film to see how to exploit us. We've got to find our weakness, and we got to exploit it. We got to exploit it quick, and we got, like Coach was saying, can't turn over the ball. You can't turn over the ball against Maryville because Maryville will exploit you real quick. The year before, it was a close game when I was out there watching that one, and it was one of those like, okay, like we turned the ball over a lot. We had bad snaps, and it put us in down and distance, or it was a turnover. And they exploit it. Maryville will find your weakness, and they will exploit it really, really quick. So you have to play perfect football for 48 minutes and exploit every single mistake they make, wherever it is. Whether it's special teams, offense, defense, you have to take advantage of it right then and there. If it means you scoop and score, you fight for extra yards, whatever it is you have to do. You find a little crease on special teams, you take it. You don't give them an inch, because you will get the best game they have, no matter what it is, and that's how they play. They play every game like it's a state championship.
It's true. And they're kind of on a revenge tour, trying to they've already gotten back at Bradley Central for losing twice in the same season to the same team. You know, impressive fashion, shutting out Bradley Central. I know Boo Carter and those guys aren't there anymore, but still, they weren't completely void of talent in that in Bradley County and so forth like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they definitely
Bradley County was so loaded last year; it was ridiculous. Like,
and look at Cleveland this year. Cleveland's got a very good team.
Very good team. Very good team.
Cleveland's always been the punching bag on 6A. And it's like, oh, last year was a fluke where they were beating teams. But they've proved, or something's happened over there where it's flip-flop, because those two schools are right there next to each other.
Yep.
With Bradley Central and Cleveland, because it's Bradley County. But that I'm shocked to see a 3-0 Cleveland right now. Right?
Yeah, and Cleveland beat the crap out of Walker Valley, who I was liking up to this point as possibly being a team that might be there the day after Thanksgiving that you might have to travel to if West gets through the gauntlet.
Walker Valley's never impressed me.
They haven't, but they're there, you know, and I think that they play in a region that they're just so much better than the other teams. Like Ray County's taken a step back. You don't really see much from the Ooltewas. McMinn County has been traditionally an okay team, but Walker Valley beat them last year twice. So, you know, that's the breaks. Two-Pair, I wanted to ask you this, but what, you know, you mentioned the talent of West. If West can hold on to the ball and get off to a fast start like they did against Farragut and score on Maryville, what does that do? It's like, oh, well, wait a minute. You know, West is here to play. And the longer that game goes on, does Maryville get frustrated like last year and make the mistakes, and West ultimately wins like a 21-14 battle? I mean, what's your thoughts on that, brother?
Well, I just think we really have to control the time of possession for us to be where we want to be in that game. You want to control the time of possession. Um, Now, the beauty of this game is that it is on the friendly confines of Sutherland Avenue, and
Preach.
that place is going to be rocking. We will have field level access for highlights of the game, so we're just now getting the itinerary set up. So you're gonna get a lot of different angles for these highlights with Rebels with a Cause, and for the West High Broadcast Network, where you can see the Rebels with a Cause on the West High app. If you have that West High app, you can tune into it, and it's in the fan zone. So big
Absolutely.
shout out to Paul Romero,
So you
the
said
athletic director of the West.
we got field access and parking, correct?
Well, here's the other thing. Yeah, you need to give your email because I already get, as part of the football staff, I get parking behind the armory and I enter through the back way. And of course, I'm in the press box. So you guys will have the field level access because I'm actually going to be working and so forth. But that's the beauty of my position and so forth. But yeah, definitely get your email to Romero so that way you can get that parking and so forth.
Okay,
And then,
you got my email, right?
yeah, I do. I do.
Can you
Yeah.
send it to Paul?
Yeah, I'll send it to him. Yeah,
Okay.
and also, what I'd love to do if we can pull this off, depending, I know our work schedules and everything like that. Next Friday, jumping a little bit ahead, they will be honoring the 2014 OGs, the first state championship. It's the 10-year anniversary at the Central game, and why it's so special is that Kevin Lane was the defensive coordinator at West, who's now the head coach at Central. Mark Giles is going to be there because Farragut happens to be off that week. So it really works out that key coaches, former players should be able to be there. And what I would love to do is maybe do a game day show from 6 to 7, maybe like what we did for the Bearden before the game. Actually, what I'd like to do is
We
5:30
can
to
just do that from
6:30.
the press box.
It'd be nice. It would be nice up there in the stands. We could do that from the stands. Absolutely, we
We could
could.
do it from the
So
stand.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could
that
if we could get away with that. Yeah, if we could, we'd have to get some
so
permissions, but yeah, we'd have to get it
we
done. So,
would. So we would have to be there at 6.
well, if
No,
we wanted to
5
do if we want to do like maybe 5:30 to 6:30, and that way there's 30 minutes cushion before,
before the
but
games and
the
everything.
other thing too, you could almost set up by the field house over there with the guys warming up in the background. That would be pretty cool. Or
Oh,
maybe
right there where that pad.
yeah, that we if
Yeah.
they don't have something set up there with a barbecue, so we might need to talk to Romero about that and see if we can pull it off 5:30 to 6:30 next Friday before the Central West game, and obviously honoring the OGs. And if there's even a couple of players, hint hint, that are going to be in town that want to just sit down on the set and share some memories from that team, that would be amazing too during the show and so forth. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is getting pretty cool, man. Like,
Cottrell gonna be there? Cottrell gonna be there?
I would hope Nathan's going to be there. I know he's busy with the realtor thing down in Atlanta, but I hope he is there. He needs to be there. Because he did come up last year when they retired his jersey, so that was something special to be a part of. So yeah. But one thing I did want to also do real quick, I want to give a shout out to a couple of the other West sports teams that are going on right now. We'll get back to the Maryville West game with predictions here in a little bit, but I want to give a shout out to the West girls soccer team. They've won their third game in a row. They are now 5-4-1 on the year. They ended up beating Maryville last Tuesday 2-1. They beat Cleveland 5-1, and they beat East Hamilton 8-0 as part of this 3-game win streak. Thursday night, they have a heck of a challenge against the defending two-time state champion Bearden Bulldogs girls soccer team at Bearden Thursday night, and Bearden's 5-1-1 on the record, shown that they can be beat, but at the same time, it's going to be a Herculean challenge, and I wish our girls the best, and hopefully maybe they can pull the upset there at Beard and get some revenge for our football team. And I also want to give a shout out to our girls volleyball team that ended up winning last night over Concord Christian. So shout out to them winning and getting a W, and that team just continues to
Shout out Coach
get better and
Lee,
better.
baby.
Yep,
Coach
absolutely.
Lee.
Yep.
Shout out to
Shout out to Coach Castro too for the girls soccer and his staff, and hopefully we can get
shout out
them
to
on
Coach
before their
Castro.
season. Hopefully we can get them on for a quick interview and before their seasons respectively end. It's crazy. It's already week 4 of high school football, guys.
Man,
I mean,
we are in week 4. We are.
I'm already like, what?
We are at the 2 games that I said these are really judgment games right now. These next 2 weeks are where I judge West as Maryville and Central. This is a tough, these next 2 weeks are tough. And who's gonna be the guy to make plays in this game? Like Wren, McAllister, Ray, Drada, Dubon, Mills,
Davis,
Perkins. This is that type of game.
Yep.
This is that type Burdine. This is that type of game where you get your horses going. And Maryville's damn good.
They are.
They are damn good. They're good teams, but they are damn good.
You play teams like this, get you prepared for November, right, Shane? I mean, this is not a team that you're not gonna see them because they're in a different classification. But this is why when you play teams like this in Alcoa, it gets you prepared for whatever Page or Southwind on the other side of the state got for you.
I completely agree with that. I mean, you go up against a team that, you can't call Maryville a team. We're just like we don't call West a team, we call West a program.
Yeah, it's a program.
Maryville is the epitome of a program, along with Alcoa, with what you want to accomplish in East Tennessee.
Yeah.
You want your name to be mentioned like a Maryville and Alcoa. We're getting there. We don't have the legacy like they did, but we're building it.
Yes.
And this team, that's what you play for. You want to give this. Even when we played, we knew what Maryville brought to the table, and we still gave everything we had when we played.
Correct.
Knowing how hard of a team they were. I mean, there's a lot of Maryville's team up against some colleges.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would put Maryville. So, Tennessee plays Kent State this weekend. I would line Maryville up and say Maryville would beat Kent State.
You never know, honestly. And some of those George Quarles teams, they may not have been the most physically imposing, but damn were they smart. And damn did they know what they needed to do to win. It's like you said, those weaknesses. They found ways to just demoralize teams before they even got snapped. So,
one of the things I always tell my players is effort, attitude, toughness, eat.
Yeah.
And with Maryville, you got 100% of their effort, 100% of their attitude, and 100% of their toughness in everything they did. They played fundamentally perfect football.
Yeah.
You couldn't find a flaw in that team. They're hard to beat.
I like my movie references, and Two Pair might laugh at this one. In a way, Maryville has their fan base, I feel, has become so spoiled. They're like the Hawks from the original Mighty Ducks, where they have all those banners, and they're just like, we don't like that state semifinalists. We wish we could take that one down, or we don't honor silver balls or things like that. Meanwhile, at West, we have banners up to honor those teams that finish third place, because damn it, that's hard. I mean, I'm sorry, that's hard.
You play for Maryville, and I've got a buddy, former Tennessee player. His kid plays in the Maryville program, and you would just expect, you send your kid to Maryville, you're coming home with a gold football. at some point in those 4 years that your kid's there.
Mhm.
That program for the whole time that I've played football and coached football and been in games, like that team is just brutal. But God, you love the way they play the game.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
for sure.
Maryville is like the Alabama of high school football here.
They are.
You expect it, and they have an off season. It's like, what happened here? Something's wrong.
Yeah, and
They don't know how to lose.
To be fair, Alcoa might take a little offense to that because they do have that pride that they've won 3 more state championships. But remember, let's keep in mind the classification, because what if you had to face Murfreesboro, Oakland the day after Thanksgiving almost every year?
I still firmly believe, and there's a lot of people in our area that believe Alcoa should step up from their region.
Yeah. And they've got a tough one on Thursday against Greenville. I'm excited to see what happens with that. Greenville's got something to prove because unfortunately the news came out last week. They had an ineligible player. They had to forfeit that first game, so their record doesn't look as sexy as it did. Not to mention they also had to they still have a game to make up because of that lightning delay a couple weeks ago with a bad storm that happened. So the record's not there. But that game on Rivalry Thursday, let me just tell you this. This is the lineup for TV this week. Okay, you've got Rivalry Thursday, Packer and his group they're at Alcoa for the Greenville Alcoa game.
Yep.
It did not get finished last year, so you got that going on. And then Friday you've got Russell Biven and his group from Channel 8 or what have you. Coach Rogers comes back to the sidelines as a sideline reporter this Friday for the Maryville West tussle. So
what are the odds?
That is God, man. I remember, it was senior year, and he took the AD job at Grace when Grace started their program, and he was on the side, and also he's there on the sideline. That like we were his players, and he goes over there and makes a change right there at the start of winter workouts and everything. But man, that's weird to me still, just thinking.
Yeah, and he's called some games in the booth with Russell Biven. I guess they have a friendship. But Russell's going to be calling the game with another gentleman. And of course, Tony's going to be on the sidelines. But yeah, so the game for Maryville and West will be on TV on Friday night. And there's going to be, just like you said, 2 pairs. Then you got the Jack FM, maybe even 99.1 might even be there. With Vince Ferrara and Kevin Simon, you never know who's going to show up. So there's going to be a lot of media and a lot of coverage on this game. Not to mention the coverage we give and so forth, and obviously talk about it next week. So it's going to be pretty big and so forth on that end. We'll have predictions here in a minute. I did want to talk a little. College football week 2 thoughts, man. There was a lot of good action.
Yeah.
You all can say, listen, I'm not one of those ones that like to say I told you so, but did I say the Vols were going to bust the Wolfpack's ass? Because that's what happened, baby. I told you that game wasn't going to happen.
Touchdowns. I said 2
yeah,
touchdowns.
I said that it was going to be. I said the Vols were going to score at least 45 points. They did one better. They scored 51. Okay,
and how about the linemen and the protection?
Yeah,
like those dudes are security guards, like Cooper Mays, Javante Spraggins, John Campbell.
Oh god, that block by Campbell and Spraggins all the way to the sideline.
Oh, Campbell and Spraggins. You do not want problems with that type of offensive line.
No.
Now, also I got to give props to your Hurricanes, man. Hey, that FAMU defense is good though.
Yeah, no, they're defending national champions. They're defending national champs.
No, that FAMU defense. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, the career 3-point leader Justin Ravenel from FAMU. Shout out to them. But defensively, the boys can play. That's just. Miami's a different beast.
Well, and I'm going to tell you this right now. There's some nice players in college football, but be biased because they are my two favorite teams. Right now, the Heisman race, as far as I'm concerned, is between Cam Ward and Nico at this point to see who can outdo the other with 300-yard games and
Mm.
touchdowns. Cam Ward is almost to 700 yards. He's had the one interception against the Gator. He has 6 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground. Nico doing his thing. I mean, it's going to be must-see TV for those two quarterbacks. The difference, Cam's been in college for forever. Nico, I mean, this is really just his first year. He was in the bench and redshirted last year, but Nico's got the goods, guys. I mean,
Oh man,
enjoy this young man because this is like, look how long it's taken. No disrespect to the other quarterbacks that have come through UT, but this is like a Peyton Manning type of player, and you need to enjoy him for the couple years we have him because he is going to be one of the highest picks, probably, if not number one in a couple years, if he progresses. That's just my opinion. How I'm so impressed with this kid's poise, just right off the being so young and mature. And he didn't even let that pick 6 phase him. He comes back out and throws a damn. I mean, come on, that's who does that. Some people hang their head. He went out there. He's got the goods, man. He really does.
does he not? Like the way the running game has been for UT. Like the way they were really good.
Man. Yeah.
Like Samson. Then you get Deshaun Bishop giving you 10 carries for 42 yards.
Yep.
It like just the little things like that. You didn't really have that many huge plays in the passing games. You had effective plays in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just able to run the ball at will.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm also glad that here's the other thing too. You mentioned the offensive line. That wasn't a trash defense they were going up against.
No,
NC State always had a really good defense, and then credit to Tennessee's defense.
Well, they're
Pick 6, but the defense is sick. I mean, realistically, they didn't allow the touchdown. The touchdown was on a pick 6, so they've done very, very
well. Pick 6 was only because his elbow got hit in the throw.
Exactly,
and the trajectory was off.
Yep.
So you're looking at a 2-1 instead of 2-2 this week. But man, that defense, God dang.
And it's about time. A lot of people, I know Tim Banks got a lot of criticism.
Yeah,
what he inherited. I mean, he didn't have.
I was listening to my buddy Swain talking about this the other day. It was, people were criticizing Tim Banks when he first got here. It's like, look what we had. Wait for his guys to get in there. Now he's got hit. He wants in his defense. That speed that they have defensively is ridiculous. Boo Carter literally watched the football. Stopped, watched the football, and still made a play. How many defensive guys actually have to stop, watch a play, and still can make a play? You don't see that. You don't even coach that. Like, that's like, you don't do that. And you did it and still made a play on the ball. Like, it's ridiculous the speed that we have on defense right now.
And can I also mention something that I don't think you guys even know? It was brought to my attention today, and I want to give him a shout because he knows how much I love him. I told him that he was going to do good things. And the great Ryan Scott made a tackle in that game with 2 minutes and 22 seconds left. So it is recorded that a West High football player got a tackle at UT.
Oh, hey, one other shout out to our former teammate whose son plays for Tennessee. Tommy went in the third, was, I believe, during the UTC game, one of the special team player of the weeks.
Oh, okay.
Recognized for Tennessee, they recognized 3 players, and he was one of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw a photo of the wide receiver, so he's playing wide receiver for Tennessee, but he's wearing number 30 out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so Tommy Witten's son is out there on that roster.
That's awesome. No, that's so cool to see, man. And like I said, shout out to Ryan. And the fact is he walked on there, preferred walk on, number 50, getting already burned, and tackle against NC State, and it's just going to keep getting better and better. He's going to find a way on the field, and everybody's going to know that name the way that we know it.
He could be the next Will Brooks out there too.
He could be. He could be.
Shout out to Will Brooks.
Yeah.
Shout out. Will Brooks just got a scholarship off that one play, man. Shout out to Will Brooks.
That's pretty cool. No, that's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool, man. That was really cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Some other games that happened, man. I was very close with that Boise State beating Oregon prediction. It should have come true. I mean, there are some teams this year that I'm not saying they can't get better. Everybody can get better throughout the weeks of football and different opponents of how they match up. But two pairs, Shane. I mean, what is going on with Penn State and Oregon? I mean, it really is Ohio State and what, 17 other little dwarfs in that conference now? Because they're not the Big 10. They're like the Big 18. It seems.
Iowa losing to Iowa State.
Your Cyclones, baby. They did it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
Michigan shit the bed.
Oh, we knew that Texas. Oh, that was another spanking. I mean, that's why I felt like it was like those were your two marquee games, Tennessee, NC State. Then you had the noon game. Your 3:30 game was South Carolina pounding Kentucky like they've not been pounded in a while by a team of that caliber.
Okay. I did not think Kentucky was gonna do that, lose like that to South Carolina.
They stink.
Shane Beamer, dude's overly excited and talks so much. Man, y'all just have played his head a billion times. Like, it's South Carolina. It's not the Spurrier days with their
Lou Holtz. It's none of that.
No, even Muschamp.
It's none of that.
Has had some okay games there. But Shane Beamer just bugs me as a coach. I hate that me and him have to share the same name.
I hated his father when he was at Virginia Tech. He screwed my Canes over so many times. Yeah. So the Beamer name is not very friendly in my home.
My best friend Brent he's a UT alumni, huge UT fan, but he was born and raised a Tech fan. And I was like, dude, what's up with your team? And then he's like, yeah, y'all getting beat. And he said South Carolina was getting beat. He's like, yeah, that's just, I don't even like that guy.
Yeah. I'm hoping the games this week are a little bit better that are on TV. But my God, that was just, I mean, because I kept looking for a good game, and the Arkansas-Oklahoma State. Arkansas let one slip there, man. I think the writing's on the wall for Sam Pittman at this point.
Yeah.
It's just a question of when.
I say they finish up the season with Pittman. I still think Florida loses. I still think was it Napier? Florida. He'll be gone before the end of the season.
Let me ask you this. Speaking of that game, because that's kind of like one of the sexy matchups this week, just by name alone, and it's in the Swamp. Do you think Florida wins that game with Lagway now at quarterback there, or do you think A&M goes in there? Because realistically, A&M can't even say that they lost to a good Notre Dame team after what happened with that.
Then IU. Oh my God.
Northern Illinois just made a new movie. That's a new movie.
By the way, two-pair, guess what? You got to introduce my favorite new segment, Loser of the Week. Notre Dame, by the way. You paid how much money to get your ass kicked by your next-door neighbor?
Was it 1.5?
Something like that. It was very sweet.
1.2. 1.5
it was something
million?
Up there. Yeah, it was up there.
I don't know what it was accurately, but
yeah.
You paid $1 million to get your ass beat.
It's like, what was it? 5 years ago with us, what was it? Georgia Southern?
Georgia State.
Georgia State. I get those two confused because they're very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we paid $1.2 million to get whooped by them. Then the following week lost to BYU.
That was rough times at UT right there.
That was the start of the Pruitt era, wasn't it?
Can I just say this? That was
who's there? Was that the Pruitt era?
That was Pruitt era.
Pruitt was there. I'm telling you. So,
that was the Pruitt era. That's horrible.
My God, poop stained Pruitt. I mean, unbelievable. And then they lost to BYU the next week. I think in
long coverage on 4th and super long.
How many times did Butch Jones beat Florida once?
Once because of what was his name? Dobbs. Because of Dobbs. That was
Dobbs and
Juwan Jennings.
No, Josh Smith. Josh Smith runs that like that
Josh Smith.
post, catches the ball behind him like this, like when he turns his body this way, whips himself back around, and takes off for a touchdown, and that changes the momentum of the game.
Yeah.
How
The
about that
Juwan
game?
Jennings game you're thinking of, Two Pairs, when they beat Kirby and
Georgia.
Georgia. The only time that they
But
beat
Juwan
Georgia
Jennings went
in the
off in
last
the
few
Florida
years.
game too, though. Didn't
He
he
did.
go off in the Florida game?
He did, because they started to pull away after that halftime deficit. You know, like they were down. People forget that Florida.
Yeah, we were down. I was at that game. We were down 21-0.
Yeah, a lot of people forget Florida. Everybody was thinking, "Oh, here we go again," and then Tennessee turned it on and didn't look back. You know, but honestly, though, it's guys, we need to be so thankful for Josh Heupel. We really do. You know, the staff, the recruits that are coming in, more players are committing. I'm telling you, man, because this fan base, and I've talked to my Miami fans too. Enjoy it while you can, because, dude, when you're already out the first or second week of the season, it's no fun, man. You wait all year for this, and it's like your team's already done, you know. And now, granted, you now have 11 spots, because one of the spots is going to go of the 12 to the FC or to the highest group of 5 team. But my point is that, you know, there's very little margin of error. I mean, Notre Dame's strength of schedule is absolutely horrendous. And to lose to Northern Illinois, even if they run the table, I wouldn't put their asses in at 11-1. I wouldn't. No, you're not a part of a conference. You're not. You're not even playing the toughest of the tough. Like, if they were playing the top 3 SEC, top 3 ACC, and top 3 Big Ten, you know, then we'll talk, you know, but you're not even doing that. And you had every right to get your ass kicked in South Bend. That one girl, she was, what was she doing? She was, they had her on NBC, like just like she was devastated. And I'm like, yeah, you got whipped. There was no touchdown Jesus or none of that. You just lost. And I hope Purdue beats their ass on Saturday. So, you know, yeah.
None of that.
I've never been a Notre Dame fan. I hate the way that they're always ranked. Like, you're not in a conference. You don't. You pick your schedule who you want. Technically, you play ACC teams, and then
you're a part of every conference and every other sport of the ACC, but you didn't want to join. You know, with football, and you might have to. I mean, so, and I'll tell you this, Two Pair, no disrespect. Do you think, and I'm going to throw this out there, with Florida State, do you think they've brought a lot of attention to themselves with these lawsuits? And they ain't getting calls from the ACC refs, man. You be careful when you piss off the league you're trying to leave and you've not officially left yet. You know, Clemson too. I mean, Clemson's kind of.
Well, and ACC got that weird clause, like you just can't leave. Like Oklahoma did.
I don't know who their lawyers are, but they were pretty good of how they designed that contract. I don't know. So shoot.
Like, you're going to have to get whoever wants them to help with the buyout.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's just really sad in Tallahassee right now. It is a hangover of epic proportions down there. Like, they just can't get it right now. Like, they got a lot
Memphis
of talent,
and Memphis is a good team. Memphis is trying to be that group of 5 team that gets that 12 spot. And, you know, there's that whole matchup. You know, Norvell used to coach at Memphis before he went to Florida State. I mean, you know, Memphis is not a trash program, man. They are a very good team.
There was a couple years ago when you could say the best team in Tennessee was Memphis.
Yeah. I mean,
the back end of the Butch era, the front end of the Pruitt era.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Memphis was the best team in the state of Tennessee at the time.
Yeah. I mean, you know what the worst thing is, and no disrespect to them, but like, dude, Tennessee was losing to Vanderbilt, and that shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, they were losing to Vanderbilt. It felt like.
I mean, we lost to them under the Pruitt era and under the Butch Jones era.
Yes, and Dooley, yes. So,
like, I don't remember growing up there. You did lose to Vandy. You didn't lose to Kentucky. You started losing to those teams. Like, come on.
I really hate to say it. Those 2 games were automatically. You knew you'd get 2 wins right there, and then you basically would get the 3 wins of the out of conference teams. And it really, our seasons came down to Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. You know, like, realistically, of how sexy the record looked back then. So So
like, you had guaranteed 5 wins. Like, okay, these are our 5 wins. Now we got to actually compete in these. But what's up with Colorado right now?
Oh, Larry Frank's on, preparing for the hurricane. He just got on. Larry, you need to definitely go back. We had our head football coach on, gave a lot of good stuff as we prepare for a big matchup Friday night against the number 3 team in 6A. We're the number 3 team in 5A, just to catch you up. But right now, brother, praying for you guys in that hurricane down there in Louisiana. But we're talking about college football, and Shane just brought up what's going on with Colorado and
Man,
Dion. And
what
all
is
that.
going
So,
on? That is, it's getting rough right now. Like,
yeah.
we want to see if he can win football games. Like, whoever you got on the sidelines, the spectacle, like, we want to see if he can win football games. Like, now the offensive line is getting talked about, and then you know, as a quarterback, as a leader, like, you got to be able to not throw them dudes under the bus. Like, you win as a team, lose as a team, man. Like, yeah, it's tough, but you guys are replacing. You put 43 guys on your
I
team.
thought that they fixed that. I thought that they fixed that in the offseason with the transfer portal. You mean to tell me you couldn't get 5 good hog mollies that may not have been very happy at the schools they were at, pay them that NIL money to protect potentially the number 1 draft pick in Shedeur Sanders? Potentially? I don't get it. I mean, I really don't. So, yeah. I mean, you know, preach, Larry Frank. Colorado's finished. Shedeur throwing players under the bus. Shiloh finished. Sapp, a waste of a coach. Prime Hype is done. He'll be gone at season's end. And then my question is this. We talked about this last week. Does he go to the Gators, or is that Lane Kiffin's job over there? I mean, at this point.
I mean, if USC didn't lose to LSU, I would have said he was going to LSU.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
No,
sure.
USC. I would have said he was going to USC.
So he was going to replace. Yeah.
If USC doesn't lose to LSU,
yeah, for sure.
Like,
well,
USC,
I'll tell you this: LSU. I mean, you know, they were struggling with Nicholls State last week. They can't stop the run, man.
Not the same. Not. Here's the thing: the defense didn't get better.
Oh, they hired a terrible coach, and he's horrible. He's awful. So I'm telling you. I mean, and I'll tell you this: Nebraska's 2-0.
You get rid of Orgeron. You get rid of Orgeron for this.
Horrible. Got rid of the Cajun guy. Got rid of the guy that, you know, didn't give him a chance to fix the problem. You bring in a wannabe in Brian Kelly, and that's what he is a wannabe. Come on, I'm telling you.
Like, you didn't give the guy that got you to the mountaintop a chance. He put together probably that's one of the best. That's one of the top 10 best teams I've ever seen in college football.
Without a doubt. And the coaches, you know, that some of those coaches from that staff have jobs themselves or are in the NFL, like the offensive coordinator guy that designed that.
Joe Brady.
He's with the Bills.
He's with the Bills.
Brian Kelly, you know what? Butch Jones followed Brian Kelly over. Like, he was always his replacement. Now we know where Butch Jones got it from.
Yeah. Let Larry bring in the heat. Orgeron's happy with those college-aged girls in Miami. Yeah, because his son's an analyst for the Canes, and he helps out at practice sometimes unofficially because he's collecting all that money that they had to pay him. So, yeah.
He started out in Miami.
Yeah, he did. He started out on Jimmy Johnson's staff down there. So, yep, he sure did. So, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that, like, some of these coaches, I mean, look at UT, man. I mean, I thought, you know, look, I was disappointed with Fulmer, but realistically, looking back, hindsight's always 20/20. Could we have given the man a chance to maybe fix it for a couple of years?
The reason Fulmer got let go was because he was on the brink of breaking Neyland's all-time win record. And the powers that be, a.k.a. Haslam, didn't want to see his coach be number 2.
Wow.
That is a proven fact.
Wow.
And money stops if you don't do what he says.
Yeah. And a couple of guys, I guess, just didn't pan out to give that excuse.
The OC hire wasn't a good one after Cutcliffe left for
Rick Lawson wasn't a good. That wasn't a good hire.
Instead of giving Fulmer the ability to fix it and say, "Oh, the game's passed him by," Fulmer knew football. Fulmer knew what he needed to do. He knew who to bring in. Heisman did not want to see Fulmer in front of General Neyland.
Yeah.
And that's true. That's true.
Yeah, Larry. Notre Dame was our loser of the week, paying $1 million to get your neighbor to kick your ass on national TV for your home opener. I mean, it's just incredible. And Michigan, I mean, guys, Michigan didn't even look competitive. I mean, my question is this: yes, they lost Harbaugh. Yes, they lost all those fun guys. But hadn't they been recruiting at a high level? Did everybody just jump ship and go transfer to other teams? I mean,
I'm curious,
beat Ohio State last year.
I'm curious if, basically their version of Spygate was the reason they made that change. And
possible.
So, but is Texas that good or is Michigan that bad?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think it's a mixture
of both.
Texas looks solid, and Sarkisian, you got to think he learned from Saban. He knows what it's going to take. He may have failed at USC, but he's really gone on a redemption tour, kind of like Kiffin with Ole Miss. And let me tell you this: I know Ole Miss hasn't played anybody yet, but damn, man, they are just smoking the teams that they're supposed to be smoking. I mean, that's a team that I can't wait. I can't wait to see some of these sexy matchups. I don't want to wish the season away, but you're going to start to learn about some teams over the next few weeks.
I hate that we don't have in the SEC. We don't have our East and West now.
Yeah. I think they could have still kept it between you and I. I think they still could have kept it.
I mean, I think at the end of the season, it's going to be Georgia and Texas for the championship. But what if Tennessee pulls the upset? I don't think Tennessee loses to anyone until they get to Georgia.
I honestly, Alabama looked very beatable the other night. I mean,
that score was very, very misleading because it was 16-14 in the fourth quarter until they pulled away.
Yeah, it was actually 21-16, and then Alabama just, I don't know what happened because I was so engrossed in our game, and I should have kind of gone back to it, but I was like, how the hell did they score 21 points in 7 minutes? Like, because it was like 21-16 with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And I'm thinking, do this, so I mean, I don't know. So
yeah, I mean, what Saban will come down on the sideline and put the field after him. It's like, hey, I don't want you all. I recruited you all. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, exactly. So
I'm taking all your Chargers and Challengers.
Well, and then here's the other thing too. So the games last week, there were some upsets. Should have been some more. I really believe Bowling Green should have beaten Penn State. I really believe that Boise State should have beaten Oregon. They're going to get theirs. But I will say this much: this week, though, I still can't grasp why game day went to South Carolina for LSU versus South Carolina. It's not like LSU is undefeated. If LSU had been undefeated, I could see it. But unless they're just trying to go on a tour of, let's go to places we've never been before, and this just happens to be a matchup. I mean, there has to be a better game that game day could have gone to this week. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. So.
Next week, if they're smart, they'll be at Tennessee versus Oklahoma.
No doubt. That, especially, Tennessee.
You get the return of Heupel to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You got I think Tennessee will be within the top 5 next week.
Oh, absolutely. And let me ask you this: Tennessee plays a MAC school. Who is it this week?
Kent State.
Okay, so they'll beat the hell out of them. Miami's going to beat the hell out of Ball State. So, but my question is,
I say Tennessee's worth 70.
Without a doubt. I honestly, if that's not the game with all the storylines, I don't know what ESPN's smoking at this point. I really don't. So, yeah, for sure. So, yeah. Trick Williams going to be the guest picker. He played at South Carolina. Okay. All right.
What, going to Darius Booker this week?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, moving on from college football, week 2 thoughts. How about some NFL week 1 thoughts, man? I mean, what was up with some of these teams disclosing and hiding injuries and screwing fantasy football owners like myself, waiting to the last minute to let us know if McCaffrey was playing or not? I mean, I still won, but man, that margin
Hey,
was.
shout out to the backup running back last night from
He did
Dallas,
great. He
Tennessee.
did great.
Yeah, the 49ers are my new team. So that's who I'm rolling with this year.
Yep.
But yeah, I was like, where's CMC at? What's going on?
Well, and I'll tell you this: the Carolina Panthers, they stink. They are horrible. And the Saints, I think
They're
everybody,
horrible.
if you had a Saints player, you probably won your fantasy game because everybody had touchdowns and yards galore, depending on what type of league you play in. Honestly, so yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Tucker, any thoughts on the NFL, bud? What you watched or anything?
Well, the thing that got me on the NFL is when you see a guy like Baker Mayfield who goes to a Tampa Bay, throws 4 touchdowns. It's like
It's
then you see what Deshaun Watson was with the Browns, and you like, wow, who could be a luckier team to have that type of effect that happened to them? Like, and then what really touched me this week is it is very hard to be a black man and getting behind that wheel. And you know what I'm saying? For like Tyreek Hill, like what he went through this weekend, like I don't want anyone to ever go through that. Like, because he's a well-known. So had he not been who he was, the outcry of like the police, do they understand that you arrested Calais Campbell too? Like, these dudes are going to the game. If you don't notice that those guys are Miami Dolphins, I don't know what I'm saying. What rock you're hiding under.
What did they get pulled over for? What did they get stopped for?
It was supposed to be some traffic thing, right, or something, or I don't know what the hell it was. It was ridiculous.
We give him a give him a speeding ticket and be on his way, but to take the man down by force, put him in, like he just had surgery on his knees.
Yeah,
on his knee.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I think I'm not trying to make light of the situation. If they had hurt him in that way, the lawsuit that could have been done, not to mention you would have had 70,000 Dolphins fans kick those cops' ass on it. I mean, I mean that, but truth be told, it's like, how does that happen? Do you want to know something? I missed the whole, what was it? The CBS, like how they start they preview the games and they talk, the talking heads talk and everything like that. And I get to kickoff and I was like, what happened? Like, what did I miss? Because I was mowing my lawn outside and just trying to get it done so I could watch the 1:00 games. And I was just like, what in the world? Is this a joke? And then when you see the body cam footage, revealed yesterday or whatever it came out, I mean, that can't happen.
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. And I watched Tyreek's interview afterwards. And it's like, we need to come together. We need to find a resolution. Like, if he files that, like, if I wasn't Tyreek Hill, it'd be a completely different story.
Oh yeah. I mean, just disgusting. So yeah. I do want to laugh about this statement that Larry Frank put. The Panthers couldn't beat their meats if they had a girly magazine.
Yeah, I read that and I died laughing. I had to hold my laughing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Larry bringing the heat, baby, on a Tuesday with a hurricane on the banks of Louisiana about to hit. Man, I'm telling you. So shoot, yeah. Can I also say this? I know it started on Thursday, but can anybody beat the Chiefs at this point? I mean, the Ravens, I know that the toe was out and everything, but man, Baltimore just fucked around that game. And I was so just like, you are better than them and you find new ways to lose to them every time you play them. I think the Chiefs are in the Ravens' head at this point.
I still think the league has it in for the Chiefs. Like, they get everything. That's the moneymaker. They bring in fans due to who's dating who and all that crap. And we got to make sure this team does what we want to do. So we bring in money.
And I'm not trying to say they're not talented, and I'm not trying to be a hater because they're not my team. But damn, it's like they were nothing for so many years. Like, I mean,
They
they
were
had a few nice players,
they
but
make me think of the Patriots. It's going to get to where we all hate
yeah,
the Chiefs. It's getting closer and closer each week.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, even Andy Reid, he was okay in Philadelphia, but the knock on him was he could never win the big one. Remember,
Yeah.
like he could never win the big one.
Yeah, but
And
he's not a quarterback guru. But
yeah, he was also known as that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think about things like that, and I know that there's different dynasties and things of that nature, and who knows, people could be sick of West with the high school,
Yeah. But I can't even watch a Chiefs game anymore because I kind of think about Taylor Swift.
Dude, they followed her in, and what she was wearing and everything. And I'm like, God, can we just worry about football and everything like that? I mean, goodness gracious.
Like literally last year, like anytime I turn on, they're always like the primetime games or the main games of the day. That's all I see. Like I turn it off. Like it got to where I didn't even want to watch the games.
Yeah.
I don't get a flying.
I mean, honestly, I hate to say it. I think that they have a camera set up in the stadium that just focuses on her of all things, and it's like when something goes wrong, they show her and Mahomes' wife or, like just that press.
No, it's like the old CBS commentator. Who was it? Was it Gary Danielson?
Yeah.
Like, don't have a hot girlfriend. Because that's what we're going to turn this broadcast into be about.
Oh, you mean Brett Musburger? Musburger was hitting on the Alabama quarterback's wife. Yeah, for sure. So, all right. Well, let me ask you this. I want to end the show with some picks. How about some high school picks? Shane, do you got the games for this week? And let's see if we can. Two-Pair, I think you won last week with more predictions right, to be absolutely honest with you. So, and of course, I want to save our West. I want to save our West pick last and everything like that. But yeah, I definitely want to do some high school football picks before we wrap this up. It's been a great show. And again, thank you to Coach Brown for being on. And if you missed it, go back and watch the show from the beginning. He was on for our first 35 to 45 minutes, and just such a wonderful time with him and learning so much about him and the program and culture he's built with West and so forth. And wish him luck this Friday night against those Maryville Red Rebels in Marble City. So, but yeah.
Let's see if I can get these pulled up. It took me a little bit to find them last week, so let's see what I can find.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
All right.
We'll go with the East part. If I can get this to close out. There we go. All right. We got Greenville and Alcoa Thursday. I'm going Alcoa.
Okay. Two-Pair, what you think, Alcoa or Greenville?
I'm always picking Alcoa until they prove me otherwise.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I'm gonna go Greenville.
Nice pick. I think that Alcoa wants to kind of prove that that Bearden game wasn't a fluke, that they're a good team, and they've had a week off to get ready for Greenville. I think it's going to be a great game, but I just think Alcoa and Pistol Creek, I think Alcoa gets it done by a field goal. Closer than what they did. I will be very shocked if Alcoa blows out Greenville. I think it's going to be close, but
the lights are going to cut off on the final play.
The lights are going to cut off on that final play if Greenville gets a shot. So, yeah.
All right. Next up, we got Fulton and Anderson County.
Oh, man, I think Anderson County rolls Fulton. I think Anderson County's got a great thing going. And I think that realistically, Anderson County.
Anderson County. I'm going Anderson County as well.
Yeah, I think they got it. So, Two-Pair, what do you think, Anderson County or Fulton, bud?
Oh, Fulton is rebuilding, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, this game would be Anderson County, but Nah, I think I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna say Anderson County might pull out the win.
Okay. All right. We'll take it. All right. What's the next
Uh,
one?
we got Walker Valley and Bradley Central. I'm going
That's tough.
Bradley Central. Walker Valley's never impressed me, even though they made the playoffs. I'm still going Bradley Central.
Just to be different, I'm going to go with Walker Valley just because I could potentially see them as the team after the day after Thanksgiving. I haven't seen McMinn County.
No, I agree with that too. I'll take Walker Valley too.
All right, so we're both going Walker Valley. Two pair, what do you think, Walker Valley or Bradley Central?
I have not yet to see neither teams play, but Bradley Central typically puts out some guys. I'm gonna go Bradley Central.
All right, we got Bradley Central down for two pairs. So
All right, we'll skip over the next two because we don't ever cover any of them. Let's go Farragut and Cleveland at Cleveland.
I've got to go with Cleveland. I don't think this gets any easier for Farragut. I got Cleveland, and if Cleveland can clean up the penalties, it might even be a very impressive win for them, and especially in region play.
I don't think Farragut is prepared for this year. I think the coaching changes affected them. I think last week it's going to sit in their head. I don't think they bounce back from it. So I'm going Cleveland over Farragut as well.
Okay. Two pair, what you got, Cleveland or Farragut?
Yeah, give me Cleveland. Farragut's got a long way to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Campbell County and Clinton.
You
know, I think Clinton is going to win pretty handily in this game. So I got Clinton beating Campbell County. So, yeah.
You got Clinton beating Campbell County?
Yep.
I might have to take you up on it if you think so. It's just the last time I saw Clinton was not a good showing.
Yeah. They did win last week. They did beat the heck out of Scott County last week. So they did get on the winning track. So
next pick, AE and GP. Austin East and Gatlinburg Pittman.
Man, Austin East lost to South Doyle last week. I couldn't believe that. I know that they're not too happy with Stanton, but they got to give the guy some time to rebuild what the program he inherited is. I like GP, even though GP let me down against Carter. So
GP's always been a good team. I think Austin East, you've got to give him time.
Yeah.
You can't expect instant gratification, even though he is an AE guy. So you got to get the guys bought in. You got to get you guys in the program, staying in the program. I'm still going GP.
Yeah.
BT, what you got?
Ooh.
I
know your heart's with AE. I know that much.
My heart is with AE, but man, Gatlinburg Pittman gonna show them boys a little different side of the football.
Hate to see it.
Next up, Seymour and Gibbs.
Let me tell you something. Gibbs, they look good. I mean,
I watched them last week. I watched them on Friday against Carnes.
Yeah.
And
I like Gibbs to roll against Seymour.
I like their quarterback, man.
Didn't impress me as much last week. He's a little bit more mobile than I expected, but he didn't overly impress me. Carnes' issue last week was they kept the defense on the field too long. They couldn't get they just couldn't get them off the field, and their defense, Carnes' defense, kept them in the game as long as they could until they got gassed. But no, I'm still gonna go with Gibbs on this one. But the quarterback isn't what I expected. Like what we saw in the spring game, I'm not seeing it yet. But I want to watch him. I want to watch him play those 2 times. But
I think he'll show out this week against that bad Seymour defense. I really do.
Let's see. Next up, keeping it local, we got Halls and Hardin Valley. I'm taking Halls easily.
I think Halls wins big. So Halls needed overtime to beat Fulton last week, but I think Halls wins this game very.
Hardin Valley's never put out a good product on the field, in my opinion, over all the years. There's always some issues with inside their staff and the players and how they react. That's just going on some personal things over there. But I'm going to take Halls. Next one up is Powell and Heritage.
Powell looked very impressive against Oak Ridge last week. I'm not really surprised by that outcome. I think Powell wins pretty handily against Heritage, but Heritage did beat William Blunt last week, which I was very surprised about. I picked William Blunt, but Heritage has found something. So yeah, but Heritage, I think, is just going to be a little bit overmatched in this region game against Powell. So.
Okay. Next up, we'll go South Doyle and Carter.
Oh, Carter should win this pretty handily. So
yeah. Here we go. Battle of the private schools. Let's go Innsworth and Catholic.
You know, Catholic has started out 3-0. You know, can't bet against them. Jade Neal's back in the starting lineup. I think it's just going to be too much of a tall task. I like Innsworth to beat Catholic, probably by 10 points. So, yeah.
I'm going to knock off all three of the local private schools real quick. So, actually 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. CAK and Grace play this weekend.
Oh, really? I like Grace. So, yeah.
Yeah, CAK hasn't impressed me much in a long time. Not since the Josh Smith days. So, yeah, I'll take Grace.
Yeah.
What you got, BT?
Oh, man. I think I'm going to – it's Grayson and – no, this is Grayson.
Christian Academy in Knoxville.
Christian Academy. Yeah, give me Grace.
Yeah,
Grace got the athletes.
Yeah, I see our boy Michael Courtney launch a lot of fireworks over there at Knoxville Grace against CAK.
Oh, nice. There we go.
So next one up to cover the private schools in the area, we got Notre Dame and Webb.
Give me Webb. Give me Webb in that one.
Yeah.
So
give me Webb in that one too. I think that
I got Webb as well. Making sure we'll leave our game for the last one, so we'll make sure to cover all the east area of Tennessee. It's a big week this week. Let's see.
Yeah, it is a big week.
Oh wow! Central is playing. Oh no, that's not. That's not Central Kentucky at Scott County. Never mind. Let's go back up.
Isn't Oak Ridge and Carnes playing this week?
Carnes is at Oak Ridge.
I like Carnes to upset Oak Ridge. I don't know what's going on at Oak Ridge. They've got this talent. I think that there's a different philosophy of because Derek Rang's a hell of a coach, and I just can't believe they're not doing better. But give me Carnes in that one. And realistically, if Carnes wins that one, Carnes is in the driver's seat to get that number 1 seed out of that.
Yeah, Carnes' defense has really impressed me. I'm still worried about. I got field level access when I'm out there because of being on the coaching staff. The offense bothers me with how long it takes to get play calls in and stuff that they're calling. It's not making sense, especially when you got a stud. They got a stud receiver, number 14. I mean, that kid, like I tell my son who played receiver, like watch this kid. Like, dude is sick with it. I mean, he was burning kids left and right, but the quarterback is not making the right reads, and play calling's coming in way too late, and you're getting penalties. But that defense is stout as hell. Give me Carnes by 7.
I like that. No, I like that pick. So, who you got? Carnes or Oak Ridge in that one, bud? So,
man, give me Carnes.
I like it.
Give me Carnes. I don't know. Like, is this at Oak Ridge too?
It's at Oak Ridge, but man, they haven't looked good. They just, I don't know, man. Powell ran over them.
It's damn time. It's damn time. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Let's go Knox Central at Ottawa, which Ottawa is where I used to live for a few months back in the day, versus Knox Central. So I'm going to go Central.
Give me Kevin Lane in Central.
Give me Central, yeah.
We got William Blunt and Mo East.
Give me the Hurricanes and Mo East. So
Mo East. Mo East all day, yeah.
And the final one, Rebels versus Rebels. Who is the Rebels of East Tennessee?
All right, two pair. Who you got, Maryville or West, bud?
Man, I think it pretty much knows where I'm riding with this one. It's definitely the Rebels of Southern Avenue. I think they find a way to win. I think they control the time of possession more than anything to win. I got West by 3.
Nice pick, Shane. What do you got?
I hate to be the negative guy here. It's hard, but as a football coach, Maryville is on a revenge tour.
Mm-hmm.
And that they have held everybody scoreless. West scores, and we score a good amount. But I think Maryville on their revenge tour to show that last year was a fluke. I'm taking Maryville by 6. Maryville by 6. I hate saying it, but it's just
No, you're good.
football. I mean, I'm trying to be non-biased.
No, you're good. I'm going to just set it up like this. I think that we're going to see a West team come out at home in front of the fans. Going to be an electric atmosphere. I think they come out strong, and it's Friday the 13th, so why not? Let's roll with West to have some wookie stuff go our way for a change.
I hope I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But win or lose, this team just needs to show me improvement because we've got a lot to play for. The record is one thing and so forth, but I just don't want to be blown out. That's the thing. But I think that the Bearden loss and the taste that was in those boys' mouth, they're going to come out there. They've probably heard it all week that, Maryville hasn't allowed a score and everything. I think West comes out there Friday the 13th and wins by a last-second field goal by Pete Rogers, and West gets it done. So I'm going to go with the Rebels.
I hope I'm wrong. I'm just going off what I've seen football wise, and Maryville's just like I said, they're on that revenge tour because last year that was a Maryville we've never seen before.
It's true. That is true. So yeah, and they got some great players. And great coaches. So yeah. Well, guys, show. I know it's getting late there, but two pair. Why don't you close us out, man? It's been such a fun show. Got to throw up that W like we always do. It's going to be a fun Friday night. Tune in on TV or Jack FM or be there and get loud and be proud. Should be a fun Friday night. But close us out, two pair.
Hey man, it's Rebels with a cause, man. Love, peace, and chicken grease. We'll do it again. Same time, same channel.
Absolutely. Go Rebels.
Go Rebs.